imagined having a real-life superpower. You know, the kind of absolute power that lets you silently read minds, control decisions, and basically command anyone in your life without them even having a clue. I mean, think about it. Whether it's your boss at work, a total stranger, or even your crush, what if you could just quietly pull the strings from behind the scenes?
So let's dive right into this. Can you actually read someone's mind? Well, let me be crystal clear right from the jump in this explainer. We are definitely not talking about magic today. What we're diving into is pure, unadulterated psychology. These are the exact tested frameworks used by world leaders, brilliant marketers, and masterful influencers to silently shape human behavior. But hey, before we go any further, I absolutely need to issue a strong warning. This explainer is strictly for educational purposes. We're decoding these hidden psychological forces so you can understand human interaction, not so you can go out and manipulate people.
Because at the end of the day, it's not magic, guys, it is just psychology. So let's start counting down the invisible forces that literally shape every single human interaction.
Kicking things off with trick number 5, the reverse trap.
To really wrap our heads around this trap, we have to look at a super simple truth about human nature. People inherently want to do exactly what they're told not to do. If I tell you right now, seriously, whatever you do, do not look behind you. Your brain is instantly screaming at you to look, right? So how does this actually play out in real life? Say you need a favor from a friend. If you go straight up and ask them, they might just say no or invent some random excuse. But if you flip the script, step 1, you completely withhold the request. Step 2, you casually challenge their capability. You say something like, hey, I had a favor to ask, but actually, never mind, I really don't think you're capable of handling it. And then step 3 is where the absolute magic happens. You just step back and watch.
This is honestly the ultimate mind hack because their ego is doing all the heavy lifting for you. By straight up telling them they can't do it, you're triggering a massive emotional impulse. They immediately want to prove you wrong, so they literally volunteer to do the exact thing you wanted them to do in the first place. This trick is incredibly powerful and frankly a little bit dangerous. Why? Because the other person is acting purely on impulse. They are completely unaware that their decision was entirely controlled by how you frame the conversation.
Which brings us perfectly to trick number 4, the illusion of choices.
You know, we all love to believe that we're these independent thinkers making completely free decisions every single day. But the psychological reality, it's very, very different. People rarely make truly free decisions. Instead, they just pick from the options that are handed to them. It completely opens the door for a big fat no and gives them total control. Try framing it. If you ask Pizza Hut or Domino's, you aren't asking if they want to go out. You framed a choice where both options lead to the exact outcome you want. You give them a false sense of control while totally guaranteeing your result.
And it's not just everyday people doing this. Huge brands and marketers use this exact framing all the time. Think about seeing a sign for buy one, get one versus buy two, get 50% off. If you actually sit down and do the math, the final result is identical. You're buying 2 items for the price of one either way. But marketers use these variations to protect your ego as a consumer. It offers what psychologists call controlled freedom. You feel like you're making this smart, totally independent choice, but the math guarantees the house always wins.
Okay, let's go a bit deeper into the human psyche. We're combining tricks number 3 and 2 here, focusing entirely on emotions and guilt.
Here's a crazy psychological rule. Humans make decisions based on feelings, not logic. Logic is usually just the tool we use to justify our emotional decisions after the fact. And when it comes to those emotions, guilt is essentially a powerful remote control for the human mind. Think about that flaky friend who always promises to hang out but constantly cancels. If you blow up, get aggressive, and yell, "You never make time for me," what happens? They get super defensive. Instead, use the emotional mirror. You just softly say, "Hey, I understand. I'd make time if I were important." Wow. By reflecting that guilt without using any force or anger, you basically compel them to look at their own actions. They'll feel the guilt, they'll apologize, and suddenly they're the ones chasing you to fix it, and you never even raised your voice.
So the crucial takeaway here is captured beautifully in this quote. People don't remember the logic you gave, they remember how you made them feel. This is the absolute core of what psychologists call an emotional hijack. It's a technique politicians rely on constantly. Ever notice how in major campaign speeches, they rarely focus on dry facts or boring statistics? Instead, they trigger intense fear, anger, or deep national pride. They want to secure your support and your vote in that heightened emotional state before your logical brain can even kick in. Because listen to this, if they control the emotion, they control the decision.
Which brings us to the climax of this explainer,
The most powerful tool of them all? Trick number 1, the real power of silence.
Think back to when you were a kid. If you messed up and your mom started loudly scolding you, it was chaotic, sure, but you kind of knew what to expect. Contrast that with the terrifying, freezing silence of a dad who just stares at you without saying a single word. Yeah, you know the feeling. True power simply doesn't need to shout. Silence isn't just quietness. It's an active psychological weapon that massively amplifies discomfort, fear, and guilt. When you go completely silent, the other person's mind rushes to fill that empty space. Their brain starts racing with 1,000 anxious thoughts and worst-case scenarios. Ultimately, the person who can just sit in silence and observe is the person who holds the actual power in any room.
So if you want to put this into practice to extract the truth from someone, try this exact sequence. Step 1, just look at them calmly and say, "I know everything." Step 2, maintain completely unbroken eye contact. And step 3, let the silence work. Do not say another word. Their own anxiety will build up so fast that they will practically force a confession out of themselves just to break the uncomfortable tension. Or, another example, try just using a silent smile during a heated argument. It's wild. It instantly makes your opponent doubt their own words and start second-guessing everything they just said.
Which leaves us with one final, incredibly important question to wrap up this explainer. Now that you actually know these hidden tricks, the reverse trap, the illusion of choice, emotional hijacking, and the terrifying power of silence, what are you going to do? Will you be the one to control the narrative, or will you use this profound knowledge as a shield, protecting yourself from being manipulated by others out there? The secrets are absolutely yours now. How you choose to use them, well, that's entirely up to you.